So, can anyone see anything odd about this picture? Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course! This is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives? Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I'd better watch out, or he'll find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well... It's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. We kind of are. So, what is the contradiction we're seeing here? No, he was stabbed in the chest. Let's see. Oh yes. Ah, yes, that too. Stabbed in the back and died from puncture lung, heart and lung. There's another contradiction, but that is also a thing. There are two contradictions in this picture. This is one of them, and there's another one that is less obvious. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? So there are two of them, but specifically the autopsy report, it's the victim. I think it's... oh. Well, this is the other one then. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see that its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip's broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. That was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet have been broken. Ah! What is the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness' memory is mistaken. And pass the parcel. Oh. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about the little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, Wright. All I'm saying is that this broken tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. Dinner snack stick? Yes. No. Oh. Poor Edgeworth. Order! 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 Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me once again to go over the events that took place during the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Honor, the King of Prosecutors award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story there's a lie. I'm not lying. The man was really holding up a broken knife. If that is true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Oh, pigs. I'm gonna need some water regardless, so there's that. I can't really help with those ads, because I can't turn them off. Like, I literally can't turn them off. The only way I can do it so is to play ads for everyone. Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's? Could there be one? So, was there another knife? Let's see if you have your chickens in order. Is there another knife at the scene? If the witness is adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. This is a real murder weapon. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is the picture. This is the picture of the award ceremony. This is the picture of the award ceremony. Ah! Welcome back, Pix. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon! Notice the award prosecutor Marshall is holding. You keeping count, Pix? 6 so far. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order! 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 Neil Marshall was awarded the King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh? And why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising the knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? Huh. It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait! I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? This list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back. I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half the time when I drew this picture. All this time I'm trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this list to the witness testimony. Would you please tell us what you recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First a knife mix-up, now the blue badger? This should be interesting. Wait, the blue badger? Do you mean the blue badger or something else? When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He was in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is most certainly unusual. Try impossible! The chief of detectives haven't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin. Stop! Please! Don't pursue this any further! Lana! What is the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this! I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Skye. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems like we've finally come to the core of the matter. And now we also begin to see the desperation of Lana here. She is desperate for us not to get into this. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark? Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. So then you... Yeah, the anime doesn't have this case. This is a DS exclusive. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we have theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I gotta help this other person. What do you mean you think? It all happened so fast and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. This guy was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in the matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with a knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. So then what happened next? Are you sure about this? Of course, see? I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief of detectives who thought of this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't even exist 2 years ago. It's all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him somewhere before, somewhere. Now I finally remember. Oh, bother. Just when you think that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in this room do you see him dancing? His shadow? So you mean you didn't see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation? If so, by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this Blue Badger really? So, this is a very it's not a very long stretch, knowing this, but it'll take some time to investigate what it is when you play this game for the first time. I'm just gonna save you all from that. The Blue Badger hadn't even dreamt up when Emma drew that picture, yet she certainly saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very court. Mr. Wright! In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it this witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious Blue Badger look-alike. It's actually not an Aspel, but you would need to just look at all the evidence to actually see this one. Can you see it? Can you see how this is the blue badger? The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's... Oh, what exactly is that? That's an apple. I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, it doesn't even look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands just right now, it's just a plain old jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? I gotta show them the correct angle to look at this from. Let's see. This rotation is annoying. Okay, let's nope. Nope. Nope, nope. Oh, rotating this thing is... No, no! That's the wrong fight. That's the wrong one. Never... Allow me to remind the defense that the never... yeah. Okay, we need to just rotate this thing. It's actually quite simple. We just need to get the... it's just... There we go. No, okay, what? Okay, it's the other way around. Okay, I need to turn it. Okay, let's see. First we rotate it. No, come on! Keyboards! Okay, screw it. Let's do it like this then. No, not that way. Why is it like this? Why is it like this? Stop with this tormenting music. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny that this jar resembles the blue badger. No, no, it can't be! Order! Order! The defense has proven its claim. This mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the night was crime was actually this. Although we have all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then, please tell us, what is different now that we know the witness saw this jar? So what is different now that we know this, about this jar? The badger wants your soul. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At that specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the blood body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion here is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So, this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness testimony. She said she knocked away the man holding the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked into the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Just gonna take some water. Ah! The suit of armor! Holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have to have been Neil Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No! Mr. Wright, you cannot be thinking! Yes. There's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course. The perpetrator would have no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what is the matter? Well, if events took place, as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall, you mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. Wait, what are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Guy, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin this crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body